What is up, YouTube? This is X, and we are here with a new type of video or a new type of series I want to start on YouTube called One Piece Week to Week, where essentially we go over the chapter and we discuss specific plot points from the chapter and talk about ideas from these specific plot points. Essentially, it's a review, honestly, but I'm not going through everything in the chapter specifically, just key specific plot points and just bringing in ideas that I've seen within the community itself, my personal ideas, and something to change up the pace of things. We are actually going to start this video off with One Piece chapter 1071. I believe the official translations haven't come out yet, or the Viz translations slash scanlations haven't come out yet. I know it's the holidays. We probably will get it the tail end of this week, but without further ado, I wanted to just talk about specific plot points and what I think are cool and unique and dope ideas that originate from these. So, the first plot point I wanted to bring up: Kuma flying towards the red line and hitting the red line and actually stopping at Red Port, which is a Navy port that allows, it's another form of transportation to get over the red line or through the red line via the government. This is quite interesting because one, originally we're thinking Kuma was flying towards Vegapunk. So when I was reading this chapter, I'm like, hey, Kuma was blocked by the red line to get to Egghead Island. But now I've seen, like, within the community, and I've just done some thinking to myself, maybe Kuma was actually flying towards Redport. And it makes you think, why was Kuma flying towards Redport? And honestly, what's so special about Kuma? Kuma is like a really interesting character in One Piece as of right now, because he's played a significant role in the pre-time skip, as well as like when he's helped the Straw Hats, him surrender himself to the government in order to be a specimen for their Vegapunks research and to be a weapon for the government to utilize. And he's just played a pretty big role just throughout the story of One Piece, the Straw Hats, governments, etc. And it just makes you think, what's so special about Kuma at this point in time? But I was originally thinking Vegapunk called for Kuma and he got blocked by the red line. But now I'm thinking, wait, the red line is where Kuma needed slash wanted to go. And it makes you think, who ordered Kuma to come here? We'll talk about this actually later. But who ordered Kuma to come? Or like, why did Kuma, on his own volition, his own decision making, come to the red line, Rocket Port? I'm gonna say that the red line was blocking him going towards Egghead. I could be wrong, but maybe Kuma needs to climb the red line, transport himself from the top of the red line to the new world to get to Egghead. But also, I've seen a lot in the community that there's symbolism of that giant robot that climbed the red line back, I believe 200 years ago. That giant robot climbed the red line, got powered down at top because it ran out of energy. There might be a parallel slash symbolism here where Kuma climbs the red line and then he teleports himself from the top of the red line to Egghead, or he's at the red line specifically to accomplish a specific goal. Quite interesting. It makes you think, if what specifically sent Kuma to the red line? Was it the Gorosei? Was it someone else that is in need of help of his services and know the real story about Kuma's background? I don't know. We'll see. But I think, to speculate, what is going on with Kuma? Why is he so special? What is his history with the government, and specifically just why is Kuma so important? Next, I want to discuss Vegapunk and the satellites still have another ally that they can call on to help escape. So Vegapunk's basically saying, oh, we're going to have to fight our way out of here. Well, how do we get out of here? And the satellites and Vegapunk are discussing that. And Vegapunk, the original one, says, hey, we have another ally. Like, hold on. You have another ally on this island. That was like just so random, and it's kind of surprising because you would think like this Vegapunk is the only one on this island with his lab research assistants. At first, I was thinking, oh, it's Marines. He's calling from G14, the next island or so, because they're close by. Or Smoker. That's also what I was thinking in the back of my mind. But it just seems like the Marines know, like all Marines have been ordered to come to this island, right? Because of Kizaru. And it just seems that it's not a Marine. So I got to more thinking, and what if it's actually Kuma? I know this is going into theory territory, but it's the real Kuma, where Kuma's like a part of this hive mind. His consciousness is like uploaded into the Egghead Island itself. Something along those lines. I'm not saying it's specifically that, but something like cyberpunk ish, where you can exist and live in this world, but you don't have the physical body. So what if Kuma is actually physically a part of Egghead, uh, which allows him to just operate within Egghead, and so he can, and maybe Kuma can upload himself to different seraphims, different pacifistas, right? Because there's so many pacifistas, but he can't truly be originally himself. I know it's kind of sounds crazy, but it just got me thinking, who is this ally? I was also thinking when I was doing my live reaction, what if it's like Vegapunk has friends on the moon that are in this workshop or whatever, and they're like workshop in on Egghead Island, like the automata. I know that's a wild outlandish. I don't believe it, and it's I guess headcanon ish. But what if he has some allies on the moon or from the moon that are working in his workshop? Working in his laboratory as part of his like research assistants and whatnot. So he's able to call on them because they're not directly creations of his, but I guess they're just allies of his, and he could just call forth them. Or what if it's Eneru? That would be sick if Eneru just comes out of nowhere. But it kind of be just kind of wild to think Eneru's coming out of nowhere to help Vegapunk. And like, what if Vegapunk was using Eneru as like that source of energy, where I know electricity is not fire, but electricity is like some. I don't honestly I don't know. Electricity is like on the same branch of fire when it comes to like that elemental type of thing. I'm just thinking of Avatar and how firebenders could electric bend. That would be interesting if Vegapunk already knew of Eneru and he was trying to use him as a power source. And Eneru was in his awakened form where he's like just able to be like pure electricity. And he was helping him power some of his inventions. It makes you think of like different possibilities that can happen. But I'm actually going with, I think that his ally is actually Kuma, and like Kuma is this like hive mind, different consciousness type of thing that exists but can't go back to his original body. That's what I'm thinking. The next plot point I want to bring up though, the Frontier Dome barrier system being shut down temporarily. How? And it just made me think like, well, I didn't even think this immediately, but it made me think, is someone sabotaging Vegapunk? Is one of the satellites a traitor? Did Vegapunk just he's playing 4D chess, right? Where he's like, okay, I'm gonna turn this system off because we just need to deal with CP0 immediately, and then we can make our escape. The satellites, their response made it seem like it wasn't the case. So there might be a traitor, and a lot of people I've seen in the community are pointing to Shaka and his response towards Lilith and how they were kind of confrontational. Lilith wants to go to war, but Shaka is more cared about getting the original Vegapunk to safety. And it makes me think like Shaka or Pythagoras would be the ones, because I guess they have the personality to back this up, the character trait. They would be the ones to be like, wait, why is this Vegapunk so valuable? I'm just as valuable, etc. So they would have that personality, and they're like, I'm not expendable. I'm my own unique individual Vegapunk, blah, blah, blah. I'm my own unique individual being. It seems like that. And it's interesting how in the chapter, those two are the ones talking about bringing the Frontier Dome back up, etc. So we'll see. I honestly don't think there's a Vegapunk traitor. What I will say is I think Caribou somehow, some way turned off the Frontier Dome mechanism temporarily, which is kind of wild to say because you would think he's still on the ship. But back in chapter, what was it, 10? I don't know, I can't remember. 1062, 1063, or 10, yeah, 1062, I believe. Zoro basically said, "Thanks for helping the captain. Get off the ship." Straight up. So it makes me think, did he get off the ship immediately right then and there? And where did he go? He must have gotten into the lab somehow, some way. But I'm gonna give Vegapunk a pass because I feel like Vegapunk has the system in place to know if someone infiltrated his lab, like up there. Specifically, like even going through the doors, they didn't open the door, you just passed through it. So how did Caribou specifically get in? I know he has his doubt. Oda's gonna be creative and show us if Caribou's the one to open the barriers, essentially. But what is Caribou like? What does a Caribou gain from this, essentially, right? Because the barrier came back up pretty like almost immediately. So did Caribou need to shut that down so he can make his escape going down from Egghead and essentially separate himself from both the Straw Hats and CP0 so he can make a clean getaway? Caribou, think about it. How are you going to get off the island if, in fact, you're listening? You know the Straw Hats are basically trapped by the Marines. How are you planning to get off the island? We'll see. We'll see. But this point of a trader or the frontier dome system coming offline is suspicious, highly suspicious. Just something that needs to be addressed. But I want to be surprised if Oda's like, yeah, there was just a malfunction. I want to be surprised, honestly, or if this is not really addressed again. But we'll see. Next, Zoro and Kaku clashing. This is dope. This is like some of the fan service stuff we needed. And I'm actually surprised Kaku was like so shocked. Roanoa. Oh man, it's like he saw the flashbacks indeed. And they're actually clashing right now. But it makes me think, what is Rob Lucci doing? What is Susie doing? Are they just watching Kaku clash with Zoro? Where's Brooke? Oda's gonna address this soon. And it makes me think, okay, so we have 3 CP0 agents up on the Frontier Dome, right? Now the Straw Hats and the Vegapunks are going to come outside, or who knows who's going to come outside. But the Straw Hats can essentially defeat the CP0 agents. So this is why I was thinking this was Vegapunk's idea of shutting it off, so he could just completely wipe them. I don't know, 4D chess type of thing. Important plot point 5, which I think is underrated, which is Vegapunk stating he cannot turn Bonnie's father back, Kuma, to normal. And it's super interesting that he says no, but it's not as easy as you think, or it's just not possible. And it just makes me think, why is it not possible? What has happened to Kuma to make him not be able to turn back to normal? And this has made me ask the question, like, why is Kuma so special? Because there's so many clones, there's so many pacifistas of Kuma. Why can't you just turn the original Kuma back to normal? And this is where I had like the hive mind, where Kuma was the first to be experimented on. And at the time that I guess the technology, it was advanced enough to make the clone, to make him a cyborg, to make him like this unstoppable force. But in that process, he was lost all consciousness, can't be reverted at the time. So and that's, I'm also thinking like Kuma's a part of this other hive mind slash in control, is being controlled by something else, their original Kuma. Pretty interesting to see like why Kuma is so special to the government and Vegapunk himself. And like Vegapunk, the way Vegapunk says his response to Bonnie, he just knows so much. He knows, and it seems like even Dragon doesn't know. Maybe Dragon knows at a surface level, but like Vegapunk knows at a deeper level. I see, but actually, Dragon probably knows at the deeper level as well. So scratch that. But I'm just thinking like there's so many, like we saw the cop pacifista, right? And then there was all the pacifistas that participated in the Marineford War, and like there's just so many different pacifistas. Why can't Kuma just his consciousness, his real self, be uploaded to any one of those, or his original self? It just makes you think like, why is this the case? And it just seems like Kuma is either a part of Egghead himself, or he's like in the control of the Gorosei, or in some other way. So even though like Sabo was able to rescue his physical body, um his real consciousness is somewhere else that is needed. Or maybe I'm actually thinking this on the fly instead of writing in my notes. Maybe Vegapunk was trying to incorporate Kuma into that robot. Into like maybe Vegapunk was trying to make slash duplicate that robot that was a part of the ancient times, and he was using Kuma as the lab test, the as the guinea pig. It really makes me ask the question: why is Kuma so special? Something about Kuma and his relation to the world government, his ties as a revolutionary, his ties with the Vegapunk and the Straw Hats. Something about Kuma is just significantly important that we don't know yet. Kid and Killer arriving at elbalf. Amazing stuff. I'm glad they're pulling up because now that Kid defeated Big Mom, I think actually I've seen this in the community. I saw a tweet about this. Kid is gonna pull up to elbalf and is gonna actually be confrontational. He may fight some giants, may turn into a giant robot himself and fight some giants. Then he's gonna talk about Big Mom. That's gonna come up, or they actually probably already know, where they're actually gonna celebrate and embrace Kid, and thank him, etc. Because they have beef with Big Mom, and it'll be interesting to see uh Kid just being able to galvanize and become friends, just like how Luffy is with the Elbaf Warriors. But also, I want to say this is not my theory. I saw a dope theory actually where Loki, because he's basically the prince of the giants. He's the one in charge right now, I'm assuming. Loki's gonna actually enjoy Kid uh coming, and the Straw Hats are actually gonna meet them there, where there's actually going to be a confrontation between some giants, where some giants are on Kid's side, and then some giants that we know of that's on the Straw Hat side. And maybe even we know that this may potentially be Shank's territory as well. Um, and essentially, Loki's going to say, hey, this is going to be a battle free for all for the Red Poneglyph, because Loki may know about the Red Poneglyph. We know that Saul, still alive, he knows about the Red Poneglyph. Um, so Loki is going to be the one to say, "Hey, battle free for all, etc." And it kind of plays on to Loki in Norse mythology, and how he's the god of mischief, and how Loki in this could play that similar role where he stirs up the battle for the last poneglyph, which leads to the One Piece. And honestly, Blackbeard might pull up too because he's relatively Elbaf. Actually, they're all relatively close to one another. The thing, it makes me think, are the Straw Hats actually going to even go to Elbaf? It makes me think that. I feel like we have to with Stahl's revelation. Garp pulls up to G14 Navy base and basically says, whoever's coming with me to go save Kobe, hop on board right now. Well, he basically tells Helmeppo, but I'm assuming, I forget her name. Essentially, Garp is on his way, is headed towards Hachinose, but I don't think Blackbeard's there. I really don't. I feel like Blackbeard's still occupied with Law right now. And there's going to be a winner out of that. I hope Law doesn't die, but I hope Law loses, or something happens where Law doesn't lose, but Blackbeard still gets the poneglyph, or the rubbings, essentially, just to spice things up, keep things interesting. But I don't think Blackbeard's actually going to be on Hachinose. I do think Kuzan is going to be on Hachinose and is just waiting, chilling. And we have this meetup between Kuzan, Garp, and it just makes it more interesting to see, like, is Kuzan really a part of Sword? What if Kuzan was the one that gave intel on to Garp saying, hey, we have Kobe here, Blackbeard's not here, come pull up right now. Kuzan could be part of Sword where he still acts as a Blackbeard pirate and he still fights Garp, but he lets Kobe escape. He could be playing that role and this would help prove like his allegiance to Blackbeard, and then like in the final war, once Blackbeard actually needs to be defeated, he can turn tides. I think that would be pretty interesting to see. But I gotta say, this makes me think like Luffy definitely gets this ability, this rambunctiousness, this unwavering courage. Like, I don't care who you are. If you got my crew, you got my boy, you got my guy. it's over. I'm coming for you. So Luffy definitely gets that from Garp. And like I really didn't think Garp was gonna like who even imagined Garp was gonna come in and fight Blackbeard or try to fight Blackbeard or attempt to even pull up on Blackbeard. These like it just shows how like how dope the story has become and how unpredictable and unexpected things can come in these final sagas. We'll see. So that was all my ideas, or not all my ideas, but ideas I found within the community, some my own ideas, some that I ranted on. And let me know what you guys think. I think going forward, One Piece has never been better. Honestly, since Wano, One Piece has really never been better. Actually, One Piece is always good. What can I say? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoy this new series that I'm bringing, One Piece week to week, where we just discuss the important plot points that happen in a chapter and what they signify for the story, essentially. Specifically, want to emphasize this week to week because we tend to get lost once things so like once actual things happen and occur, we tend to forget what we were thinking at the initial time. But with that said, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you're enjoying One Piece as much as I am. And also, happy New Year's, by the way. Without further ado, I'll be seeing you guys. Peace.